Hello, my name is Tuan. I represent the Australia Arakanese Association. Today, I'm going to interview with Scott from Tribal Action Group. It's about the current situation in Arakan State where the Burmese government is waging war against the Arakan people. Scott has been working with indigenous ethnic people from Southeast Asia for 20 years. Hi Scott, are you there?
Hi Tuan, Thorizobo. Nice to chat with you.
Talizoba. Hi Scott. Recently, you meet the AA leaders. Can you describe what's your experience with them?
Yes, indeed, we did meet with the Arakan Army leaders. That's General Tuan Mat Yang, the doctor, his chief of staff, and we also met with the rank and file soldiers, the men and women who are volunteering in the Arakan Army. And I got to tell you, I was very impressed. They're extremely professional, highly motivated, very dedicated, and overall a really good bunch of guys, you know. And no matter who we spoke to, they all expressed this desire to free their country from Burman exploitation. They said they're volunteering, they're sacrificing themselves just to bring freedom to their people, because all of them said that basically had grown up their entire lives being exploited by the Burman government. And so when I asked the general, for example, I said, look, what motivated you to start the Arakan Army? And he said, look, it was growing up. I grew up in Arakan State and watching children begging for food in the streets year after year after year, and being completely exploited, condemned to poverty. Pretty much, it appears now that the poverty was deliberately inflicted by the regime. And by that, I refer to the recent UN report, which came out last year, 2019, which described the Burman military as two large corporations, comprised of two corporations which basically exploit the ethnic area. They take all the natural resources, exploit the people, and they give nothing back. They bring it all to their own military leadership and their families and the central government area. So the ethnics have been persecuted, exploited for basically decades. So that report by the UN was extremely admirable, and it confirms what most people already knew anyway, who follow Burma. So very impressive with the Arakan Army, and as you may know, the Arakan Army started in 2009 by a group of students. So it's quite an incredible feat that the entire geopolitical landscape of Burma has been changed by a group of students. The Arakanese students, I think there was 26 original ones in 2009. They got together, and the general told me straight out that, look, we got to change things. Not only is the Arakan Army standing up to the Burmese army, but they've kicked them in the ass. So that's impressive, and it's impressive for all the other ethnics.
Okay. Do you have encouragement message for other ethnic group leaders from Myanmar, Burma?
My message to other ethnics would be, I think it's fair to say the Arakan Army are leading the way. Also the Northern Alliance, unite. If the ethnics unite, you're going to get your freedom. I think the opportunity's now. We see the Kachin, the Ta'ang, the Kokand, and the Arakan Army coming together under an umbrella, a brotherhood of the Northern Alliance. And these guys, so united, you can stand. You can fight off the Burmese, because the Burmese military, their military mafia, basically they survive by divide and rule. So divide and rule, and I think you know exactly the decades of how the Burmese have done this. If you unite, you can get ethnic freedom. It's within your reach, I do believe.
You have a message for the international community and for the Arakan people.
The international community needs to realize that we're not talking about scattered hill tribes up in a few little hill tribes up there. We're talking about a majority of the population are ethnic people in Burma. Now, the international community needs to drastically change what they've been doing. The Obama and Clinton administrations were going by this appeasement way of dealing with the Burman mafia. They're dancing with the devil. This was a grave mistake. There can be no peace, no justice in Burma with the Burmese military in charge. In 2016, Obama and Aung San Suu Kyi were discussing having a tourist industry in Burma.
If I'm not mistaken, there's a very welcome tourist industry that is developing. So,
this statement was one of the stupidest statements ever made about the Burmese situation. Absolutely ludicrous statement to think that you're going to have a tourist industry in 2016. We also have 1 million people who have been internally displaced or refugees. 1 million people now in Burma. On top of that, there's been tens of thousands killed, thousands of villages burned, atrocities being committed now. The internet is cut off in Arakan state, but we know there's about 170,000 internally displaced people who've been driven from their villages. Atrocities are still coming through. The people of Arakan state are still sending through social media videos of torture and brutalities and atrocities. One just came through of Navy personnel taking Arakan civilians and torturing them. The shocking videos, and unfortunately this thing is going on all over Burma in the ethnic regions. So the international community needs to give the voice to the ethnics. The reports that are coming through are that the entire Arakan population are behind the AA. Not only is the Arakan army standing up to the Burmese army, but they've kicked them in the ass. The struggle is not over by any means. And atrocities, the Burmese military are using firepower. Keep focused and remember that through unity, you can get through unity is their strength, you'll get your freedom.
So what do you think of the Burmese government making terrorist allegations against the AA?
Terrorist allegations by the Burmese government are as ludicrous as the Obama and Aung San Suu Kyi discussing having a tourist industry in 2016. Given that the Burmese government has committed mass atrocities across the country and is now being charged with genocide in the International Court of Justice and being defended by Aung San Suu Kyi, who has shown her true colors, there's no credibility to these terrorist allegations. The real terrorist is, of course, the Burmese military, the Burmese government in charge.
Thank you, Scott. We look forward to further update about the situation in Burma. Thank you.
Thank you, Tun. Always happy to have a chat. Stay strong and go Arakan Army.